Okay, here we are, game number 1, dnL versus Team NK, game 1, 3, 1, 3, whatever. What's the difference between game 1 and game 3 of a series, right? Really? Uh, of the losers bracket round 3, so that's skipping ahead of the sentence and trying to get the 3 in there. Between these two teams, of course, both of them doing fairly well this cycle. NK managed to make it to the winners bracket round 8, and I believe dnL made it to the semifinals, so good for them. Getting knocked down by some real talent, of course. No shame in that. And these teams, of course, find themselves on the brink of elimination, as this is the losers bracket, and if you lose here, you're done. Diamond Cycle 10, of course, as I've mentioned before, happened a couple of weeks ago now, so we already know that one of or both of these teams has been eliminated, but if you're that curious to find the results, I'm sure you already know them, or you can find them out pretty easily. There's no sense in me talking about them here, because that just ruins the exciting match we have coming up. So, bans real fast: Cersei, Pestilence, Keeper of the Forest, and Ophelia. Ophelia, so much banning there. Nobody wants to play that hero, or against that hero. Like, it's amazing how we never see her anymore, because she's always banned. Keeper's venturing into that territory. Cersei's pretty solidly in that territory as well, just consistently banned. The strange thing about Cersei is that even when she's not banned, she's not picked all that often, and we've only seen her a few times. So I wonder if this is a situation where teams are just really afraid of her because they don't know how good she is, and other teams are just like, yeah, we don't care, and we're not going to ban her, and then other teams are like, well, we're not going to pick her. So, possible that that's the situation there. Don't know. It's a little strange. It seems like she does not get played ever, mostly because she's banned, but also because she does get passed up quite a bit. Keeper and Pesty makes sense as bans. Keeper's often been banned. Teams realizing that, yeah, he doesn't suicide as well as he used to, but he still suicides real well, and he jungles pretty well, and we hadn't really realized that before, so now he's really more powerful than we thought he was, because he was such a strong suicide that he never got used in the jungle, so people, I don't think, were realizing, oh, you know, this is a really strong jungle player and or hero, and now they have, so they're like, well, actually he might have gotten stronger from the nerf because we realized he had more power than he did. Pesty, of course, pretty typical ban, usually banned or first picked, so not surprising there, and the first stage of picking is over relatively quickly, actually, with just 20 seconds of extra time used. Grinix, Parasite, and Gauntlet here for the Legion side, so 3 melee heroes. I suspect we'll see 2 ranged in the second round of picks, but Grinix, pretty obvious suicide. We also see him ban a lot, so first pick Grinix, not that surprising. Extremely mobile hero, creates a lot of ganks, does plenty of damage. Everything he has on a relatively short cooldown, so he's pretty much always up and ready to go. Parasite, a very similar situation, so those two should be able to pub train. I know that's a really strange use of that phrase, but it's sort of true. And rush through, get picks on tons of enemy heroes, especially if Parasite can manage to grab some Wild Hunters and get some invisibility going. The Invis brothers there will just have a ton of burst damage, silence, stun, slow, everything to take out opposing heroes. And so far on the Hellborn side, with Rhapsody, Wretched Hag, and Kronos, we have 3 heroes who are somewhat squishy. Hag, of course, has Blink, not too much help if she's stunned or silenced. Rhapsody will die very quickly to both of those heroes. Kronos, if he gets some lucky rewind procs, he might live, and a time leap away could help him out, so we'll see, but he's not exactly the tankiest melee carry in the world. The Gauntlet over there on mid, pretty solid hero as well. We'll probably see him middle with a lane partner, so the lanes for Legion side shaping up pretty clearly here. Grinix going to be Suicide, Parasite in the jungle, Gauntlet in middle with a partner, and then a solo short laner, probably a right-click carry, so we'll see what they choose to pick up for both of those roles that they have not yet filled. Hellborn side, meanwhile, Rhapsody, Wretched Hag, and Kronos. Rhapsody obviously going to be a support hero, very likely to run in the mid lane, as we do see a lot of dual mid still, and Wretched Hag does not need a babysitter if she's running that short lane, but of course Hag can be running all 3 lanes, so we're not really sure where she's going to go. Kronos, you would normally think, is a short laner, but we've seen Suicide Kronos a few times, and it's been pretty damn successful. So, I'm not really married to the idea that he's going to be in the short lane with that babysitter. He could be a Suicide Kronos. He could also be in the short lane without a babysitter. So, Rhapsody's still able to go to any of these 3 lanes, depending on what they're going to do over on NK. And, of course, 3 heroes that work quite well together. Strong push from Rhapsody and Russian Hag, and some pretty good ulti synergy there. Chrono Field setting up Bat Blast very well, and Rhapsody Ultimate allowing those heroes who are highly mobile to play a little more aggressive, knowing that if they can get back to Wrap, then they can eat that ultimate and won't take any damage. So I do like the NK team over here, shaping up very well. So has Legion, of course, putting together 3 strong heroes and have some pretty solid synergy as well. Lots of burst damage over here on Legion side. As we go on to the second stage of the bands, Master of Arms from Raxus and Kraken coming out from Flensmeister from the Legion side, Dr. Pulsar Gemini, and Bloodhunter from Insania on the Hellborn. It's interesting that Insania is actually doing the drafting here, as Tankafet was drafting for NK just last round, so bit curious, but apparently they've decided to make a switch here, and they will go through with the Insania drafter. Of course, Insania having plenty of time as a drafter. He was the drafter for IG. I'm sure he drafted before that. I remember before. He was with TDM, but he wasn't obviously drafting for them, as Hanskin was doing that. But not Hanskin. Why do I want to say Hanskin was drafting for TDM? Because he wasn't. Hanskin's been with Lions for forever. I don't know what I'm talking about here. Minuts, there we go. That's what I was thinking of. Minuts was drafting for TDM. Anyway, Master Max is Kraken here on the Legion side, so pretty interesting series of bans there. One sort of versatile hero who does a little better as support but can run as a carry. Master in this situation would probably be a support if they picked him up on the Hellborn side, but not be available. Moraxis is a mid hero, pairs up well with Rhapsody. Of course, Pesty banned out, so he's a good option to put in that mid lane. And Kraken is a suicide, or really a short laner, or a mid laner, so another versatile hero they could stick anywhere and mess with the minds of dnL over here on the Legion side. So 3 good bans there, I think. 3 heroes that could certainly have been under consideration for NK, as they're going to pick a Magnus. We'll talk about that in a second. Dr. Repulsor Gemini and Bloodhunter banned out for the Hellborn side, as Bloodhunter has been played by dnL. That's more of a team-specific ban, and of course Doctor and Gemini both strong short laners, and common to see run in that role. Trying to get rid of the short laners, as they know that dnL is looking to pick one of those up, but it won't matter as they grab the Moon Queen Empath combination. So lots and lots of good abilities here on the Legion side. A lot of very strong heroes that actually work fairly well together. Parasite and Grinix as the gank squad, with Gauntlet helping out a little bit if he needs to. Of course, Gauntlet has strong initiation. Empath Moon Queen, a good combination, not just for keeping heroes sort of corralled in a sense, but Empath gets inside that MQ, and MQ is just going to do so much damage. So I'm actually curious to see if this is going to be a solo mid Gauntlet or a Gauntlet Empath lane. I sort of suspect this is going to be Gauntlet Empath, with Empath babysitting that Moon Queen. She doesn't always need it, but it's usually a good idea just because she likes to get that nice early start, and if she does get it, then she can snowball that much harder. Getting an MQ shut down early doesn't really take her out of the game completely, but if you get her off to a nice start, it can absolutely win you the game. So I suspect that's what dnL is going to do, try to wrap this one up, get too much farm on Flensmeister for the boys on NK to really do anything about it. The last 2 picks, though, for NK are a little shocking. Prophet and Magnus. So clearly going to run a dual support lineup here, no jungler. They did have that Tempest available, so they chose instead to get rid of it. Or to not pick it up. It's not that surprising considering they have a ton of cancels over here on the Legion side, but Chrono Field, Hag, Mag Ultimate, I'm really surprised they would not go for a Tempest there. That seems like so much ulti synergy, so many AoE ult combinations that, you know, would come together extremely well, and I don't, it feels to me like that would have been a very, very good pick, so I don't know if they just left it there not realizing it was still available, or they didn't want it, but it really felt like the Tempest there instead of the Prophet would have been an extremely strong last pick. They are going to go with the Prophet, so they still do have a lot of ulti synergy, of course, as Prophet's going to lay down that shared fate and put a lot of stuns up among the Legion side. And it still does remain that with the Magnus, of course, they have a lot of AoE ults and teamfight ability with dropping that Chrono Field first. As many heroes as Chronos can get on top of it will allow his team to set up, really, as he's doing damage inside of it. So if they can manage to lead with Chronos and that Chrono Field, then they can pull off some pretty damn impressive ults and some pretty insane amounts of damage, just because they don't have to worry about positioning themselves perfectly. They can take their time in that matter, be like, okay, do I want us to land here or land here? What's the best angle for me to get this Bat Blast off? What's the best angle for me to get this Eruption off? And get the maximum damage on the opposing hero. So It looks like to me this is going to be a strength of ganks versus team fight. Of course, the Legion side not devoid of their own team fight. MQ's ultimate going to do quite a lot, and if Gauntlet can land a very good blast, that'll do a ton. Empath Wall can disrupt team fights extremely well. Grinix can do a lot in the background. Parasite can do a lot in the background, but there's a pretty clear lack down here of AoE ult spells, or just AoE spells in general. And you have to wonder if they're going to pay for that in team fights. Really, I think what they're going to have to do is get a pick or two before they engage as a team, and then um, take a team fight that way just through sheer force of numbers, as opposed to um, beating them in terms of damage, because I don't think they're going to win that battle. Grinix up here trying to pull the lane. Prophet's going to see him though and do what he can to disrupt this, and it will be somewhat successful, as he's actually going to bring the Wild Hunters in here, and this is going to stop the creeps from doing much. Grinix now exchanging a lot of auto attack damage with Prophet, and he's in a lot of trouble here. He's very low, going to have to take the health bot. And using that much regen, not getting the pull off is actually a real big problem here for BN Sensation on this Grinix, as it's a good thing to point out that, of course, BN Sensation is here. Mickey is gone. He was playing for dnL, but decided to quit playing competitive HoN, so BN Sensation is here, clearly playing a suicide role. And we'll see how he does up here. So far not off to a great start, having used a health pot already, still pretty low on damage, and we'll see if he can actually maintain and achieve lane control up top. Meanwhile, on bottom, Wretched Hag is putting that suicide roll. Going to take a Moonbeam, as Empath is exchanging auto attacks. People don't realize, but Empath has extremely high base auto attack damage. 50 and 59, even with all those Miter Totems, 51 59, so she does have 4 Miter Totems boosting that up, but she hits pretty damn hard at level 1. And support, of course, one of the best empath players in the world, probably the best. Just great at getting those walls at the perfect angle to disrupt people, and really probably the person who went to DreamHack winner and open up the most walls. Going to actually cancel the, open up the most eyes. Going to cancel the health bot there with a wall, but Hag pops another one, so she is now out of regen, in fact, and that could be a serious problem. MQ not having a Moonbeam available, but that's not going to be a real big issue for his Empath coming down the back again. Going to exchange a lot more auto attacks. So Hag has Blink, of course, and she's not going to be in too much danger, but she is going to have to leave basically now, because she is out of regen, and she's just going to have to leave this lane. She will grab a haste rune. Nope, perhaps she's going to grab it right in her face. As the pull's actually going down on bot, Parasite pulling the lane in. To give Flensmeister back some lane control, but he will lose this actually as the stuff comes in here. In middle, Rhapsody going to fall as 4 heroes converge from the Hellborn side, and just too much stun and stuff there on top of Probusk, so he's going to fall. That's not even Rhapsody. Rhapsody's the one that's on the other team getting the haste rune. What are we talking about? So Gauntlet, Probusk there, going to die. And in this mid lane, we shouldn't expect him to do very well at all, of course, with the 2v1 situation. 136 gold per minute is actually a little surprising. I'm kind of impressed he did that much. 7-0 CS compared to a Magnus who's 14-4. That's really not bad for a Busk's part. So good on him. Meanwhile, up top, Grinix going to take some harassment from Prophet. There won't be any real danger. Kronos over here, of course. He can do quite a lot to hurt Grinix, but unless he gets an absolutely perfect situation up where the time lock comes in right at the right time, he won't get a kill here. Just there's too much ability for Grinix to get away with that Rift Stock, unless they drop a Dust or a Roar of Rev. So they could do that, try to get a kill on him, and actually if they do that, if they bring Dust down here in particular, with the time leap, they might be able to grab a kill on him. So we'll see if they try to do that, but for now, Grinix is going to be able to get some CS up here, and will enjoy his meager farm. Bottom lane, 302 gold per minute on Moon Queen compared to 237 on Hag, actually, so she's not doing bad either. And managing to get some lane control here. She has picked up a bottle. Did she get the Bloodlust? She did, so that was huge, actually. Her getting the Bloodlust kill will give her a bottle, and that's literally going to be extremely game-changing, because the fact that the rune's down here and she can use Blink to get it so often is going to keep her in lane, and it's going to allow her to get a lot of farm down here compared to what she would normally get if she was without the bottle, having to continually buy regen and not being able to use her gold for much health, getting boxed out by Empath constantly. Now Empath actually has to retreat and pull. She is still level 1, so really big turn of events actually there on the Hellborn side. for Zibe getting that bottle real fast. And now she's actually gonna go put the moves into Empath, and Empath has to be real careful here. But gonna be some convergence here from the Legion side, actually, as Hag's not in the best position. Gonna blink over here, right into Parasite, but obviously not enough going on there to kill her. So in the meantime, middle lane, Probosk on this Gauntlet, just sitting back, getting the experience, not really being able to farm too much. He's up to 11-0, but of course 29-8 on that Magnus, much better farm. Tower's gonna push in here. That'll allow him to get some CS. So I'm sure he's quite grateful for that. Not going to get that off cannon, of course. Just a little too powerful. Up here on Grinix, very low. Ripstock is available. I'm sure that they had the dust up there. Yes, Prophet did buy dust, but not quite going to be enough as VN Sensation skirts out of there in a sliver of health. And he will survive. Grab a health pot from the observatory and go right back to lane. He does not have a bottle yet compared to his suicide counter over there on the Hellborn side. I'm going to go off by Empath, putting a lot of damage into this wretched Hag, but Empath is probably going to fall. No. Empath has the Haunter still, and now she's dead because Rhapsody's here. So nice kill there onto support from Rhapsody. Tank Effect coming in there, cleaning it up. And Chronos Field onto Moon Queen, but she has an ultimate, so this is not the greatest idea here from Chronos. Interesting that Funzmeister did not choose to pop the ult there. I assume she's figuring that, you know, Chronos has rewind, and he does, but he also only has 720 health, so, oh, there it is, and now Rhapsody's dead. Instead, choosing to get the easy kill onto Rap there. So, well played. Both ultimates going down from the short lane carries, but Moon Queen getting a little more out of her is actually grabbing a kill, while Chronos does not. And unsurprisingly, we see a slight gold lead for the Hellborn side. Of course, they do have a 2-1 hero kill lead, so that's doing most of the work there, but a pretty significant experience lead for the Legion side as Parasite's in that jungle compared to the dual support lineup they're running over here on the Hellborn. It's just, we see that time and time again with the junglers. Like, usually the gold stays pretty even. Moonbeam on Chronos, they're just doing a little bit of harassment. The gold lead stays pretty even, but the experience tips well in favor of the jungle team. And eventually that becomes an issue because the jungler can come out, start doing a lot of ganking, pushing, you know, whatever they're good at, and all of a sudden it's sad time to the other team because they're like, well, we have a massive level disadvantage because we have two supports who are, you know, 4 levels lower than the rest of our team, and they only have one support that's 4 levels lower than the rest of their team, so we'll see how that actually affects this game, but meanwhile, Grinix has actually abandoned this top lane, choosing to come middle here. He has picked up a bottle. He has Riftstock and Shadow Step available, of course. No ultimate, so it's curious that he chose to not wait it out, making sure he hit 6 so he could put down that Grinix. I don't even know what it's called. Illusory Assault. There you go. So, no, that's not going to happen. It's a lot of extra damage, of course, especially if you can lock down heroes, and both Gauntlet and Grinix are pretty solid at that. Probosk hitting them hatchets, man, even from far away. Well done from him. So it looks like Chronos has sort of transitioned into a suicide role here, as he is down here by himself while Wretched Hag takes the free farm on top with this compared to this Grinix. Hag is going to port back to base, so top lane is now devoid of Hellborn heroes. Rhapsody coming in from the side, looking for a gank or something like that. Instead, going to find a double stack here of a bunch of low creeps. Also going to run into Moon Queen, put a Staccato stun out, do a bunch of damage here, but she won't obviously get a kill. One Staccato still available. There it is. That's interesting that she chose to wait so long to use it. Illusion here from Rhapsody blocking out the path as Moon Queen grabs a tree. Another illusion going to scout her out, but obviously neither of those are real. And they're going to prevent the vision there from the Hellborn side on that. So 3 heroes grouped up down here for the Hellborn side. Rhapsody and Prophet coming in to support Chronos. Meanwhile, Led's QQ falls actually in the middle as the Parasite comes in with a Minotaur Stomp, followed by the Gauntlet Hook, and there's the everything. Base Leech comes out, kills that poor little Magnus. Sad face. So, gold swing now in favor of the Legion side. It is all tied up at 2-2, but that Parasite is out farming. What a surprise. Parasite's out farming one of the supports over here on the Hellborn side, and as a result, the gold lead is in their favor. Of course, Legion not doing super well on their lanes, losing both top and mid, nominally really, but Probosk really did quite a lot in middle, considering the situation he was in, 2v1, 263 gold per minute, even with that kill. is rather impressive. He's just behind that Magnus who did die. So if that's the difference between your farm as a solo laner and your opponent's farm as a dual laner, getting support from one of those support heroes, if a one kill, brings you right at the same GPM, then you've done a good job. Like, that's pretty excellent, because it just means that you can sit there for 10 minutes and get, similar farm as long as one hero comes in to gank and you grab a kill real fast, and all of a sudden the 10 minutes that support spent, or the opposing support spent, actually, is Kronos going to use the time leap here. Still going to be in a little trouble as Parasite's coming here with a Catman Champion. Stun on the Prophet. He's going to fall. Moonbeam coming out. No. Moon Ultimate does not come out. That's actually really good. Time leap onto Moonbeam. There's the Kronos field, but Gauntlet's going to do a lot here. Gauntlet blast onto him. Tank effect going to fall on Rhapsody. Kronos also going to fall. Magnus in a ton of trouble. Lava Surge here, but he needs to get one auto attack there from Raptor. Nice Gauntlet hook onto him, and there goes, jeez. Probusk is just killing it here. That was one of the prettier engagements you'll ever see from a Gauntlet. Gauntlet blast onto Kronos inside the Kronos field, preventing him from doing much. He actually hooked Magnus in the beginning as well out of the steam bath and prevented him from stunning Moon Queen inside the Chrono field, and then hooks himself up to the side to help finish off that Magnus, and then Infernal Instability on the Prophet. I mean,
the Legion have destroyed a Hellborn tower.
You gotta give some props to Probusk there, because that was extremely well played. Just absolutely impressive. So Legion taking a very substantial golden experience lead now, 5k gold, just over 7k experience. We're only 11.5 minutes into this game, and Hellborn already find themselves on the back foot. Pod's coming out here, but guess what, bitches? This is a replay. I don't even care about your pause. And now Probusk is once again in the middle lane, and Magnus is the one that has to be careful, because he's 2 levels behind this Gauntlet and substantially behind him in farm, nearly 100 GPM lower. So Probusk really taking solid control of this lane up here. Grenix at 225 GPM behind this Hag, who was given some short lane farm for a while, so that's not terribly unexpected. But not doing quite as well as his Suicide counterpart on the other team. He is going to pick up some CS here, as he's the same level as Kronos, and doesn't really need to be particularly afraid of Kronos. Actually, Shadow Step coming out here on top of the Rift Stock, and Kronos could be in some trouble. He needs time leap. There it is. Especially because Parasite is coming in. It's lapped on that Parasite. So both of these guys going to push up here. Parasite going to go to the woods, and Kronos once again needs to be cautious out here, because Face Hug Leech combination will probably kill him. He has 400 health, so if he gets Face Hug Leech, a couple of auto attacks, that should be his death, unless of course he manages to rewind 1 or 2 of those abilities. But I believe Face Hug should stop rewind, right? It's a silence, so I would assume it would stop passive abilities. Net onto Prophet, that's going to go into the hook, and the Leech and the Gauntlet, Infernal Instability, and that's a death. So Insania getting bursted down in a matter of about 1.5 seconds there, and that's what we were talking about before. There's a lot of burst damage here on this Legion side. There's a lot of synergy between heroes that, you bring 1 or 2 or 3, and they can easily and quickly burst down an opposing hero. So if somebody gets caught out by themselves, then they're likely going to die. Up here, Kronos taking a health pot. Not a bad idea, as Grenix comes in with a Rift Stock and open up onto him. No Shadow Step, but doesn't really need to. Just let him know that he's here, and he is interested in not letting him have free farm here. Rhapsody going to be poured in here. Tank if I try and do something to support his solo laner. Chronofield going to get dropped onto Grenix, plus the Dust of Revelation. Staccato Stun's enough to kill him. So nice use of the ultimate there, making sure that VN Sensation can't do anything to get away, and picking up a kill for his buddy Rhapsody, as the mid tower is getting pushed in pretty heavily here, and this is definitely going to fall.
The Legion have destroyed a Hellborn tower.
Parasite now heading into the opposing jungle, looking for somebody to pick off. Not going to find anybody unless he heads top with his team. Courier here actually might spot something out, and also might get killed if it's not careful, as it looks like the Legion's just going to take a bunch of these stacks. Moon Queen in particular, very happy to see them all with those bouncing glaives. As Empath might well run into both Tankafet and... who's that? Haxer on the right that's playing there? Carry? Yeah, that's right. Oh, Swindle Mullins. Apparently Z-Freak and Swindle and Panny and Inklin are all in this. Staccato Stun's on to Empath here, but she's going to put the heal down. And actually, Rhapsody in a lot of trouble here. They're not really interested in engaging because they don't know how much support they have from their own team and how much support there is in the opposing team. They are going to stop the stack here, so that's nice. Vulture Lord going to take out a bunch of these heroes or creeps with the tornado, so nice play from Parasite there. Just all these stacks that they put up. Actually, as Grinek's going to open up on Hag here. Hag's going to blink away, and Grinek's not going to choose to pursue. Definitely a good decision there, as Les QQ was certainly near enough to help him out. Probably not going to kill on Grinek's, but would likely have prevented Hag's death. Top lane getting pushed in a little bit, but Chronos choosing to deny the wave. This tower is super low, so that's interesting. Insanian going to fall very quickly in the mid lane. Let's see if we can find that. As it looks like Grinek's Gauntlet actually with that portal key and the blast, and he just kills them all on his own. So, Proboss with the portal key already. Hadn't even noticed that. Top tower is going to be defended with the glyph coming out. And Chronos going to denied there, so that earlier hesitation there, denying that creep, really should have just gone in, and that would have been enough to probably get the tower, prevent the deny, and instead they're going to lose it. They do drop a lane ward here, so take it, I believe, yeah. Is there Moon Queen going to head bottom again? They do have lane control. They will sit back here. Actually, as MQ's feeling like something's up, and she's not entirely wrong. Magnus is here, but he has very little team support. Just Insane, who's still level 5. Nonetheless, Funzmeister not feeling like it's worth him dying to get a couple more CS, and he'd rather just go into his own jungle and farm that out. Not a bad decision. Of course, with God Vision, we know he could have just stood there and been fine, but if you don't have God Vision, like, because you're a player, then that's certainly not a bad decision at all. Rhapsody gonna Chronos gonna hatch at these creeps. That's a very interesting Chronos ult. I was wondering what he was doing there, because like you'd think that they'd stack this. Parasite gonna come in with a Wild Hunter actually. Might just kill this Prophet. Or try. Yep, there it is. He does have a Codex, so he can pretty much do that. And they are gonna get the stack off here, in fact. So Parasite probably could have blocked that, chooses not to. Instead, I think they know there's a stack here, and they might try to take it. Gauntlet has a portal key, and Magnus does not, so this is going to be an interesting initiation for somebody. Instead, MQ just going to take these triple stacks with her Glaze. She already has the Whispering Helm, so this shouldn't do too much. Empath is inside of her, actually, doing a lot, but Hellborn's coming over, and this is a bit of an issue, as everything is now super low, and it's going to be, okay, well, we lost a few Ancients, but you did a lot of damage to a lot of them, so we really don't hate that initiation, or the decision as much as you might think. But that just sort of shows the position that each team is in. You know, Legion's at the point where they can somewhat freely take their opponent's tripled Ancients. And the Hellborn team really has to bring the entire team to stop them. Because, you know, Legion up by 7k gold. Meanwhile, up on top, going to be initiation on Hag. She is going to get the blink away just in time. Facehug did not last long enough. Codex not quite enough from Parasite, so tries to get a kill there, just not able to. So a bit unfortunate there for Parasite, trying to get some picks onto that Hag, who's farming decently, 261 GPM, not the greatest in the world. Looks like she's going for that Grimoire build. At this rate, she probably won't have it till 30-35 minutes. Tance Floor is there, which is weird, because Wild Hunters are magic immune. So, don't know what you're doing there, Tank Effect, but a little weird. Insania is still level 5. I think that's worth pointing out. 98 experience per minute. So, we're almost 20 minutes into this game, he still doesn't have an ultimate. And Gauntlet Illusion's going to come in here, so Hag does finish that light brand, good for her, but she still needs, you know, the Grimoire and the Grimoire recipe. And at this rate, it is going to be more than another 10 minutes, because that's 29 total, 100 gold, and she's at 264, so That's 2,600 gold per 10 minutes, and that's less than 10 minutes. That's less than the amount of money she needs, so Gauntlet going to jump in here, but deciding he does not see anybody worthwhile. That War Decide, of course, providing some vision in the Hellborn jungle. Gauntlet hoping to use that to pick somebody off. Not going to happen. As they should see that on the side of Hellborn and expect there to be a ward in the jungle. Hag hanging out a little bit here. Wild Hunter Parasite going to be inside as well. Looking for a pick onto somebody. If they can get Gauntlet reasonably close, they could kill her because Parasite nearly took her out with just the Codex, and Gauntlet coming in with the anything really. Hook, Infernal Instability, Gauntlet Blast even, would be enough to take this Hag out. Instead, though, Gauntlet going to choose to bottle up that bot rune. Actually, it was a refreshment rune, so pretty sure that wasn't worth it. Top rune, meanwhile, going to get contested as Magnus comes in here. Empath is in a ton of trouble. She will jump inside. Gauntlet, yep. So, nice play there. Good teamwork as the DD is picked up by Kronos. Wild Hunter Parasite just hanging out here. Going to try to jump onto Kronos. Not going to kill him. Stun onto just one there, actually. Just did not hit critics. Ultimate from Rhapsody, but she's going to get cancelled immediately. Zibe and Tank Effect both fall. Magnus ultimate getting charged there. Going to do a bunch of damage to Gauntlet, but nothing actually as he ends up portal keying away. Now he has no mana to stun or steam back as Gauntlet jumps back in with the portal key. Prophet into some trouble here actually. Moon Queen choosing to go for Kronos. He time leaps away. Gonna have Moonbeam up in a second, so that's gonna be Magnus' death. Well done there. Insania trying to get away. He's finally level 6. Now he's trying to live. But yep, that's actually gonna happen as the Legion Seed team not interested in chasing them anymore. Instead, content to get the 3 picks that they did and back off. So as this game progresses, it's getting clearer and clearer that Legion is in the advantage. They're just being extremely cautious about it, and that's not a terrible decision considering the other team has a Kronos, which can often lead to very bad situations if you let him get even a little bit of farm. Just that Chrono Field, plus with all of the ultimates on the Hellborn side, like if they're not careful, if they take the wrong initiation, and NK either gets the jump on them or gets a counter jump or something like that, somebody misses some spells, all of a sudden 5 ultimates can come out that do a ton in team fights, and you know, dnL might be sent home with their tails between their legs going, what the hell just happened? So certainly no opposition here to their decision really to play it smart, play it safe, make sure that they don't take any engagement they're not sure they can win. Or really, take as little risk as possible. I think the initiation there on middle, they could have lost that engagement, but with a quick face hug onto Kronos, it really disrupted him. They bursted Zibe down very fast. So yeah, I'm not really opposed to that decision of sport, especially considering how it turned out, but it was a little riskier, I suppose, than one might initially think. Grinix up here, going to be the target of 3 heroes. Kronos has that time lead. There is Dust on Rhapsody, so he could be in some trouble. Chrono Field is available. That's going to get not dropped, actually, as the Time Lock is here. There's the Dust and the Staccato Stuns. Lots of Prophet Stuns as well. Shadow Step coming in here for Grinix, but he's going to fall, as the Legion team has plenty of support here. Gauntlet Blast going to show up. Chrono Field goes off, but here comes Moon Queen with her ultimate. Going to do a bunch of damage here to this Rhapsody, actually, as she falls, and Insania will fall, as well as a nice wall comes out from support, so they get the pick up there. Gauntlet jumping forward actually into 3 as Zibe needs to be real careful about where he's at. Magma's going to put a bunch of damage here onto Parasite. He will die thanks to the Bat Blast, but that's 2 ultimates to go 1 hero and not even half damage to Gauntlet. Grapple going to miss onto Magnus there as nobody else is going to die for the Hellborn side. But they've blown their ults now and they need to run away, so this is going to be a top tower push and pretty certainly a kill for the Legion side, as there is just way too much left. With Flensmeister still up, no Chrono Field, no Bat Blast, no Eruption. Rhapsody and Prophet still have ults, but that's certainly not enough. So Flensmeister takes the tower kill there. He's up to 567 gold per minute, so strong farm on him, of course. Not surprising. As the rest of his team's doing pretty well. Gauntlet 343 GPM, that's pretty much where he wants to be for most of this game, really. Obviously, he'd like to be higher, but usually if you've got 500 GPM on your Gauntlet, either you're just wrecking in terms of hero kills, or he's taking all the farm from Moon Queen, and that's actually not that good. 282 on Parasite, 271 on Grenix, 144 on Empath, so pretty decent gold spread there. Everybody's got a little bit of farm. They've all got some items, but nobody's really suffering. But Haxer and Flensmeister is still clearly the priority here on the Legion side, getting most of the farm as he well should, nearing that 600 GPM mark as he kills those Ancients. On the Hellborn side, Kronos, of course, the focus at 379 GPM, 380 now, substantially below this Moon Queen, 200 GPM below the Moon Queen. Obviously, that's going to be a big problem. He needs to step that up. He's got the Rune Cleaver and the Firebrand, so he should farm very fast. But part of the problem here, of course, is what he just discovered. Hellborn's not afraid to take his camps a lot, and they've been doing it pretty much every opportunity they get. So resource control in that matter is going to prevent Kronos from doing a lot in terms of farm. Of course, over on bottom, Prophet and company going to take these Ancients. They were stacked, so Zibby's going to get some farm out of that. He has a 277 GPM, second highest in his team. Even for somebody that's, didn't have the greatest start thanks to the suicide lane, that's a little low, I think, for Hag. The decision to go Light Brand's certainly questionable considering how late she's going to get the Grimoire. She still needs 500 gold for it, so that's going to be in a couple of minutes.
The Legion have destroyed a Hellborn tower.
At least. For that, and then, it's basically going to be a situation where, yeah, she's got the Grimoire, but she still doesn't have that many actual damage items. The Grimoire is just a farming tool that gets you a higher GPM. It doesn't do that much damage by itself, although it does do some. So, in 28 minutes, she'll be ready to really start farming a lot. Meanwhile, DD on Moon Queen, easy tower kill on bot, as mid tower also fell, so lots of tower kills going down here for the side of dnL, and they've only lost one themselves. Interested in stealing their opponent's Ancients right here, of course, with the DD still on MQ, no problem taking them. Their own Ancients to the Legion side are double stacked, so we'll see if somebody's able to go over there in time for a triple. Parasite could do it pretty easily if he chooses to. Instead, it's going to be the Skeleton King, of course, with the helm of the Whispering Helm, sorry. Pretty easy to grab that. As apparently Swindle's Twitch is black screen. So I suppose Swindle's casting this. That's interesting. That's cool. So Moon Queen now going to finish off these triple Ancients. That'll shoot his GPM even higher at 630. So not only Kronos is getting up there slowly, Moon Queen is at the point now where she's just taking farm all over the place. Striking Head, Geometer's Bane, Whispering Helm, Steam Boost. She already also has 4,100 gold saved up. So I don't know if that's going to be a wing bow, if that's going to be a completed Symbol of Rage. I sort of lean toward the latter. I like the tankiness on Moon Queen because you just know that the Hellborn side is going to focus her down because they know they have to kill her, and if they don't, they lose a fight. So it seems like what they're going to do... Yep, there's a Symbol of Rage, so I like that decision a lot. I think what they're going to do is use Kronos to force, everything onto her, and if she has the symbol, she's very possibly tanky enough to survive everything, and if she does, she can pop it, turn around, and all of a sudden she gets a bunch. So Grenix going to open up here on Hag, obviously not going to get a kill, but enough to scare her the hell away. He was spotted coming in here as there was a Rev Ward, and he ran right past it, but still not enough to prevent the Hellborn team from backing out immediately, knowing it was just him, but it was certainly enough to get them out eventually. So MQ popping those Geosbane illusions now, taking this top tower. Symbol of Rage on their way. Zlop on bottom is going to die on that tower. Meanwhile, on middle, actually, Gauntlet's in some trouble, but a nice wall, actually, not even to save him as the Sonar Stream comes out from Zibbe there. Ultimate from Moon Queen, going to kill this Tank of Rhapsody right here, and Kronos is in some trouble as well. Going to drop the Chrono field here. Mostly defensive, though. Nice, actually, ultimate from everybody, really, as Flensmeister falls. So that's a problem. Empath going to try to pour it out here. Not going to be sick. Oh, God. There's no man on Magnus, that's why. Prophet could not get the target for the stun. So we're going to see some pushing in here from Hellborn Sun. And like I said, they're just dropping everything on Moon Queen, and you really cannot be opposed to that decision considering how powerful she is. And with all of the farm she has, She does not have a buyback, so she's still dead for 40 seconds, and Hellborn are doing everything they can to take advantage of this. They should be able to take a secondary tower here. Not going to, actually. Choosing to back up. Parasite chasing with this Wild Hunter a little bit. He is going to hop out of it. That's curious. I mean, I guess all the ultimates were down, so that's a bit of an issue, but I really felt like they could have taken that secondary tower. They do push towers relatively quickly, considering how late it is, you know, how much damage they've got on their team. Plus, the Rhapsody Dance War doesn't hurt. But the decision not to take mid tower, a little curious in my opinion. I probably would have said, you know, the aggressive play is what you want here. You don't know how many times you're going to kill Moon Queen. You need to take every advantage you can so that next time you don't need 3 kills to take base towers. You only need 2. So, you know, if that mid tower's down, then they can push straight down middle again and take base tower. But evidently not what they felt it was too risky to do that. But I think they're at the point in the game really where they need to take some risk. They're down 10k gold, 10k experience. They have the Moon Queen over here who's farming over 600 GPM. Gonna boost that right back up here as the Ancients are once again triple stacked. They've got Gauntlet, Parasite, and Grinix all farming pretty well. On their side, they have a Kronos who's doing well. Zibe on that Hag doing pretty well. Magma's doing alright. 2 supports that really have very little. So I think they're at the point now where they need to start taking some risks, and that was one of them. Is that a finished Codex there for Parasite? It's got to be pretty close. Zibe's hanging down here, looking for a pick on Parasite, I guess. Or maybe just trying not to die. So he has Codex 4 right now. And does he have him a courier? No. So, not quite a finished level 5 Codex here from Parasite. As, of course, we have been seeing a lot more of those upgraded Codexes in recent times. Teams choosing to go for that, as once again MQ pushing this top lane, gonna take the secondary tower out. Not much the Hellborn can do about this, or really they want to. They could drop all the ult here once again, but I think they're gonna save that for the base push. And I think, you know, this game, a lot of it is gonna hinge on Kong. If Legion is able to pick off Kong, get a token on a Moon Queen, I don't see how Hellborn wins it, because they can basically be in a position where MQ is just in their base pushing it down, and they can initiate on her, blow all their spells, kill her, she comes right back with a token and a symbol of rage and a shrunken head, and she's completely fine, and then the Legion wins, or they can let her take the base. That's going to be the options they're presented with, if they let the Legion side get the token here. And of course, if they don't, then they can actually start to make some aggressive plays. They can actually start to push down some lanes that can, you know, Kronos is going to be in the front, or Hag is going to be in the front, or somebody like that, who has the token. So if they get initiated on, they get bursted down, they'll come right back, and we can, you know, put a team fight together off the back of that. But so we'll see. Actually, going to get scattered out here on Grinix's side. He pops the Shrunken, going to stop the stun there, as Rhapsody's in a ton of trouble over here. So is Hag. Moon Queen ultimate not dropped here. Rhapsody will fall. Chrono's going to drop the Chrono Field, but does not catch Moon Queen. She's going to drop the ultimate. I don't think she's in range of anything, though, as there it finally is. Shrunken Head and Symbol of Rage. So much damage going out. Everything is dying here on the Hellborn side. Insania falls. The Sensation does fall as well. Nice wall there from Empath, as Magmus will die. No, Steam Bath actually going to, as the bounces end up killing him. So, yeah, that's the problem there, is they didn't catch Moon Queen in the Chrono Field, and now she's completely fine. Bunch of new ports here, as yeah, Magmus did buy back. They're looking for a kill here on MQ. I wonder if they're going to find it, in fact. She does have the Symbol of Rage up. It's popped, and she's just going crazy now. Kronos has to run away. Magmus in some trouble. The wall going to come out, not going to prevent him from, or it isn't going to kill him, but it will be enough to scare him off a little bit. Parasite going to pop that Dust of Rev, as the Legion team not deciding to run away, but forcing the buyout out of, I will get it. Who's NK's mid player? See? I feel really bad. That's QQ. I'm sorry. I deeply apologize. In my defense, he hasn't been around that much, but yeah, I should know that. So, Les QQ forced to buy out there, and it looks like Legion team will just choose to back off rather than pushing their luck. With MQ popping a bunch of her stuff, she's just like, I'd rather do that. Grinix going to open up here onto Kronos, as he's in some trouble. Going to time leap away after popping the Geometer's Bane. So, There she goes the Skeleton King, and Moon Queen loses her stacking creep. But still a pretty substantial lead here for the Legion side. 12k gold, 9k, really 10k experience. Hasn't moved too much in the last maybe 5-10 minutes, but really, the more Moon Queen gets, the more unkillable she gets, and Haxorun up there is starting to get pretty dangerous. Having that Geometer's Bane on top of the Rune Cleaver is very nice, but his GPM hasn't really skyrocketed. Neither is Zibby's for that matter, despite picking up the Grimoire of Power. He hasn't managed to go from that 280 GPM to 400 GPM. He's at 350, so it's going to take some time, of course, considering how late he got it. That is an average GPM, so even if he's farming substantially faster, it takes a while to actually reflect that. As MQ now will clean up some stacks. And Hellborn is, I suppose, now in the position once again. Their ultimates are all back. Of deciding whether do we want to engage, do we finally want to do that, or do we want to once again play defensively? And I think that the decision is going to be to play defensively. They know they're on the back foot a little bit here, and they'd rather force Moon Queen to make a move and hope she makes the wrong one, and then deal with it if she makes the right one, than really let her have the chance to respond to something and really be the ones that put themselves in a dangerous position. So not pushing up these lanes too far, not really hanging out anywhere by themselves. There's so much invisibility jump on the Legion side. Grinix, Gauntlet, Parasite, so much burst between those heroes. They can still do a fine job of taking out either Prophet or Rhapsody. Rhapsody does have that Mystic Vestment, so she's going to be a little harder to kill, but she has less health, and of course Prophet doesn't, but he has a little more health, so. MQ taking out more Ancient, 662 GPM, has that Wing Bow. That might be Legion's cue to push in. Kongor still really never attempted by either side in this 36-minute game, so a little interesting that both have really decided that that's not something they're willing to risk, and I understand that. If you lose a fight at Kongor, you also might lose the game, but it is going to be Legion side going for it right here. There's a ward obviously dropped directly on Kongor by... Can't even tell, as Gauntlet goes up here, picks off Tankafet pretty much immediately, as the Legion had a support had a ward up there, so nice warding there. That might let Kong go through. Zibe is coming in from the back, so I get the flank, that makes a ton of sense. But the Legion side's all spread out. No, Moon Queen shouldn't be that close. Let Gauntlet tank it and have them eat the damage up here, as Insanity gets picked off as well, sorry about that. So he's just walking over here, right into a ward, and Grinix is like, hello, Shadow Step, Codex, and Leech from Parasite. So now Hellborn's down 2 heroes, and I don't think they can take this Kongor anymore. Chronos going to drop in, and there's the Chronos field on top of the, what's going to be Magma Assault canceled back in the background by Gauntlet. Support's going to fall, but Moon Queen's still well alive. Shrunken Head going to start going off there, as Chronos taking no damage from the Moonbeams. He's going to have to time leap away. Magnus actually lives somehow, but Kongor goes down. And like I said before, I think Kongor kills basically the game for whichever team gets it. Moon Queen's got it. And I would be surprised if the Hellborn side is able to do much of anything, especially because all their ults are down now. Seriously, Moon Queen, just go sit on that friggin' thing. I guess they're going to go bot instead. No? Okay, I don't know what this is. Choosing to back up here for some reason. I guess because everybody on the Hellborn side was up, but I think this is literally a situation where Moon Queen can sit in the face of the base and just destroy everything because she has that token. It's possible she didn't feel very comfortable because the Shrunken Head cooldown is still up, so she has the token for 6 minutes. She doesn't have to push now. That's fine. I don't hate that decision by any means. Once again, choosing to play it safe a little bit, knowing that they have the advantage and they have arguably the stronger carry. I don't think they have the stronger late game considering the presence of Hag, but I do think Moon Queen certainly outcarries Hag and probably outcarries Chronos. It's going to depend on whether Chronos decides to get a Savage Mace and or Lifesteal, because Moon Queen has a Lifesteal and a Wing Bow. So with all the misses from Chronos and the Lifesteal coming back from Moon Queen, I'm not entirely sure that he's going to be able to to do enough. Of course, plenty of that comes out because Moon Queen's farm is so much more. But we'll see. So, Fundsmeister here pushing up bottom lane really fast. And everybody alive once again to the Legion, and it looks like this might be their cue to push in. Parasite picking up a portal key here. He has the Codex, I believe, level 5. Yeah, there it is. So, level 5 Codex there. Jobber's Bane dropped in the ground by MQ.
The Hellborn have
bottle for the
destroyed a
illusions.
Legion tower.
Okay, good. So, this is going to be pretty hilarious, actually, to see how fast this base dies. As Hellborn knows exactly what's going on. Zibe does not have a port. He needs to get his butt over here. Glyph going out, buying some a little bit of time, but oh god, Zibe not having that port. Chronophil going to go on the back onto Gauntlet, going to try to burst him down, but Moon Queen ultimate coming out here. Tank Effect will fall immediately. Eruption doing pretty much nothing to a chunk-and-headed Moon Queen as she's just putting auto attacks everywhere. Zibe falls on that Wretched Tag. Insania Prophet dies. Tail leap away from Kronos, and that's game. She didn't even lose the token. She didn't lose any health, really. She's got Empath inside of her, so the only person that they lost in Legion side was Gauntlet, who was the immediate, burst target. Buyback on Zibe, so he will come back into this fight, but I think they're just going to continue to push here on Legion side, and there's no reason why they shouldn't. Time Leap once again over here, but Flensmeister's just like, come at me, bro. And Zibe is falling very quickly. Not going to die quite here, but Magma's in a ton of trouble. Shadow Step there sends both of them, so nicely done there from BN Sensation on that Krenix. Geometer's Bane comes out from Kronos, but that's not going to be enough either. Parasite actually going to be able to finish off Hag as Zibe tried to jump in and kill him, but it wasn't enough. And with Zibe and Magmus permanently down there, neither of them have enough money for a buyback. Kronos in some trouble. I believe he time leaped in, but actually nice Prophet ultimate coming out, and Krenix is going to fall here. Ultimate from Rhapsody if she just dies. Codex on Kronos, he'll fall, that's game. So, GG's Warblades. Kronos buying back, jumping back in with a strong head, gonna kill Parasite. Oh, actually Parasite gets away in the creep! Holy shit! Oh, Haxturn's gonna be mad about that one. Oh my god. So, well played there from dnL. Really making sure of that game. Like, they took very few chances there. Very few team fights where they're like, there's a lower chance that we win this. They basically said if there isn't an 80% chance or higher that we're going to win this fight, we're not taking it. And as a result, they get handed the game. It took them a bit of time, 40 minutes, but a win in 40 minutes is better than a loss in 25. So very well played from them. Very well played from the boys on NK. They did very well in the laning phase. Did pretty well in the draft too. I think part of the thing is, of course, second support versus jungler. Eventually that Parasite was just a very valuable pickup, and both Insania and Tank Effect were never really that effective. So that played into it quite a bit, but a strong game 1 here, so we'll see what these two teams have to offer in game 2.